Well, that time is upon us already. We have a brand new set coming out for Pocket in less than 12 hours from when this video should be dropping, which is kind of crazy to think about. We just had Wisdom of Sea and Sky with the new art coming soon, Ho-Oh and Lugia, which was maybe the highlight of the entire set for me. I absolutely loved that. But I have to say, for whatever reason, this set for Pocket feels like it landed very lightly and like almost like a stone skipping on the water just moved on. And I know everyone's gonna have sort of a different feeling of a set that comes out. I'm gonna give you kind of a wrap up of this set, what I thought at the beginning, what I've thought near the end. I'm gonna go over our tier list that we made right at the start of the set, see what we got right, what we got wrong. Hi everybody, Jake, your resident content cowboy here. Yeehaw, let's freaking do this thing. Before I go any further, a quick word from this video sponsor. On this video, I'm giving away some more Pokemon cards I won on Whatnot. Whatnot is a site and app that allows you to buy, sell, and trade tons of things like video games, accessories, and for us, Pokemon cards, which is what I did on the site. They gave me about 500 bucks to spend on their site and bid on tons of different things, and I'm going to give it away to one of you. On the site, you could bid on individual cards like this Alakazam that I was able to bid on and get, and things like packs, so I was able to buy packs. So if you haven't checked out Whatnot before, use this QR code over here or use my link in the description to sign up and get yourself 15 bucks off your first purchase. If you want to enter the giveaway for some of the cool stuff that I was able to win on the site, all you need to do is be here in the US so I can ship it to you and put your Whatnot username down under the pinned comment that I'll have. I'll pick a winner in about a week and I'll ship you out a bunch of cool stuff. Shout out to Mr. Rizzo who won our first giveaway. I hope you enjoyed all the cards I was able to pull. Thanks again to Whatnot for sponsoring this video. Now, on to the video. Wisdom of Sea and Sky. This set had Ho-Oh, this set had Lugia, two of my absolute favorite Pokemon. Like Lugia was, for me as a heart, like I love Gold Silver. That was like one of the games that just felt so special to me when I was a little kid. I really think that this set, for whatever reason, didn't hit me like I thought it would. One thing that's always tough with a set like this is it's a 2-pack set, right? I actually find that the mini sets are a lot easier to get into. It's a lot easier to chase a lot of the cards you are looking for, obviously, right? You don't need to split your time between multiple sets. And I also find that the single sets feel like they have more of a clear focus, where the 2-pack, or of course Genetic Apex 3-pack sets are trying to expand the game in some bigger ways. One of the interesting things that I feel with Wisdom of Sea and Sky is I don't feel like we got as many meta shaping things as we did in EV Grove. Now, I could be wrong here. Maybe it's just because I'm talking about Sylveon EX, right? Which is one of the most powerful cards that they've ever introduced. And it's very possible this new mini set with each one of the legendary beasts having card draw could be like a new, crazy, unbelievably powerful thing. But for some reason, Wisdom of Sea and Sky just didn't feel like it rocked the meta that much. It didn't feel like there were a ton of exciting decks to build from it like it had been with other sets. And again, maybe this is just me. Maybe I expected too much out of it because of Lugia or something like that. But yeah, my overall impression of Wisdom of Sea and Sky was I was so insanely hyped for it coming out. And there were a few decks that I really enjoyed building from it. I loved building Crobat. I had so much fun building Donphan. I think the Ho-Oh Lugia interaction is fun, but it actually felt kind of underwhelming for me that Lugia was so, or is so wonky to power. It's just like a really odd Pokemon to power up. Of course, the natural combination between it and Ho-Oh are there, but Ho-Oh also is a slow Pokemon to power requiring 3 energies. So you have 2 Pokemon that I'm really excited to use, but their playstyle is really, really slow compared to how fast the meta is in Pocket, how fast the meta has become. And they don't take advantage of one of the most powerful things in the entire game, which is the insane amount of card draw that so many decks are getting out of things like Sylveon. So we're going to go over a lot of the cards in this set, kind of the things I really liked, the things I didn't, the things I overvalued. Overall, like thinking about what this deck has done meta-wise, I think the big thing that it changed, and it's what a lot of people were unsure would be that huge of a hit, it was babies. Babies were incredible. I loved, by the way, pulling packs on the first day and having, because I'm streaming the game, right? And having the chat notice that there's a 6th card in a pack, because it didn't even register to me at first when you're going through that 6th card is popping out. I think the way they did babies was really, really cool in this set. Outside of that, there are a few really powerful meta cards, which we'll get into in a moment, and then a lot of stuff that feels fine, and I would say quite a bit of pack filler in this set, which is a little unfortunate. It didn't feel like the same. It didn't feel the same kind of huge changes that we had in Space-Time Smackdown and Celestial Guardians, right? I feel like the addition of, obviously, like, Space-Time Smackdown had so much going on. It introduced Cyrus. We had Palkia doing some really cool stuff. We had Dialga kind of setting up this really interesting way to ramp up energy. We had Manaphy for water decks. Like, there was a lot of cool stuff going on in Space-Time Smackdown that felt like really pushed the meta in some interesting ways. And then Celestial Guardians, not only did it have insane stuff, it also had rare candy, which was, of course, absurd, right? This set has some cool stuff, but it definitely felt like not as much of an impact. I expected more of an impact, or at least I hoped for more of an impact with these 2 cards. Let's head over to our tier list so we can break down each card a little bit more. All right, so here is the tier list that we made at the start of the set. Like, we were 1 day or 2 days into the set, and I just gave my early opinions on a lot of the cards in this set. And I like to come back at the end of the set and kind of see what we got right, what we got wrong. So let's take a look here. Down in our pack filler tier, I just put a few things down here that I just didn't think would be very relevant in the meta, and they aren't. We have things like Feraligatr, Meganium. Bummer that they are not good. I hope we get a cool one at some point. Azumarill didn't seem like a super relevant card. Then we're going to move up to our Delmise tier. I feel like that's about right. All of these are pack filler cards. Maybe with water energy ramp, Feraligatr could do something right. Like, we could see some cool stuff happening with that. Moving up, we had Shuckle that I put in the Delmise tier. I actually ended up liking Shuckle a little more than this. It is cheese and not incredibly good, but I'm going to move it up to our C tier. I forgot to go over our tiers here. Sorry, everybody. We have our God tier where we only put 1 Pokemon, even though we put more. We're not freaking Norse around here. We have our S tier. These things are unbelievably good. A tier, great cards. B tier, still got the B tier. These cards are pretty good. Cheese tier, these things are fine, but you put them in a cheesy deck and have a fun time. Then Delmise tier, these tiers are just terrible. These cards are just terrible and not very good. And then, of course, Looker tier, that's for something that's, like, absolutely awful, which we kind of have in this set, maybe. So in the Delmise tier, we have Kingdra. I think this could definitely change with water ramp in the next set. I don't think it would make it amazing, but I think it would make it much better. For now, I'll probably keep it in our D tier. It's bad. I mean, water's just bad. It's rough right now. Maybe it's closer to C. We made a couple okay decks with it, but the fact of the matter is, like, water is just not in a great spot. 2 energy isn't a ton, but only 90 damage just doesn't feel like it's enough. You have to have it in there for multiple turns. I don't know. It doesn't feel that good to me, honestly. Fisher, yeah, would definitely stay here. Maybe in the future you could get a little more value out of it, but you gotta flip coins to pull things out of the trash. It's not very good. Squirt Bottle, yeah, it's definitely hanging out here in the D tier. You don't know what deck you're going to be running into. Maybe if the meta becomes super fire heavy, there's something here, right? It's a fun idea and bad. Kangaskhan, didn't even get to play with it, to be fair. So I can't say I didn't see it used in any meta deck. We had Blissey, which was fine. You know, we had EX Blissey as well. I wonder, did they add that to this thing? EX Blissey? Let me see. I don't know if we got it added here. I don't think so. It's Blissey's, like, it's an EX. All of the EXs that are promos are fine. Blissey's actually okay with the extra energy you can generate. I didn't mess around too much with this. Weavile felt like not too necessary. The fact that it has to be a stage 1 is rough. The no retreat cost is kind of cool, but it's just too much investment. Musharna actually is fine. I'd put it closer to the cheese tier, probably. Only 2 energy, you know? And it guarantees sleep. It's okay. Emolga, yeah, I didn't get to play with it too much. Swanna actually feels like it's okay. Maybe I'll move it up to our C tier here. not terrible, and there are some decent decks with it. The no retreat cost is great. Move like hitting and then moving the energy and free retreat. That's actually pretty decent, right? Crawdon's cheese. Suicune is actually fine. You know, it's just a good Oricorio counter. 3 energy is a lot. That it could be a really nice addition to some water decks moving forward. It's not great though. Octillery, honestly, I didn't really spend any time with Octillery. Corsola's fine. Yeah, it's fine to friend for water cards, right? For water decks, it's fine. Quillfish, also fine. Single energy to do poison damage. You know, not terrible. Gyarados feels like full-on cheese to me, but kind of, it's just too much investment to get anything out of it. Maybe next set we could see something cool with it. It's just too much. Politoed. This one is currently not good. Probably closer to cheese. But in the next set, if they give us a good Poly Evo, this could be a really cool card. So I'm actually excited to see what happens with Politoed moving forward, right? Let's see. Entei is so much energy. Heatmore is fine, probably closer to cheese tier. And Heracross, I'll be honest, I never played Heracross, which is a bummer. Like, there were a lot of decks that I was excited to play in this set, and it just felt like, I don't know why. It didn't seem like I was that excited to make some of them when it came down to it. I just like the set wasn't that exciting to me for whatever reason. Lantern. Lantern's actually probably close to the Kingdra here for EX. Like, the problem is not enough things care about this, like, Paralyze. Next set, though, given we might see less Arceus, maybe this could be kind of good. It'll two-shot all of the elemental beasts, which could be ideal elemental dogs for all the educated people out there. The next two babies, Smoochum and Elekid, I think are fine. They're like okay. They're not the best babies, but they're fine. They're okay. Hiker's probably better than I thought. It's actually a little better than Cheese. In certain fighting decks, I think it's a really solid card. Rescue Scarf is not really it yet. I'm interested in this card moving forward, but I would say it's not really it. Smeargle. I honestly didn't spend really any time with Smeargle. I was hoping to, but it just didn't really become a card that I built around. Let me take a look at Smeargle right here to see, because I kind of remember what it was about, but I honestly didn't spend any time with it, and I never saw it do anything super meta. Change the type of a random energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. Yeah, it's super cheese. And I never got to play with it. Stantler I actually think is pretty cool. Stantler's not bad. It is 2 energy for 70, but it's a basic. And if you have a tool attached, it's 70. Actually, I think this one's not bad. This one, I ended up messing around with a bit more, and I like it. It's not amazing, but I like it. Porygon Z was okay. The Porygon 2 is definitely the star of that, right? Which I'll keep in the B tier. Scizor feels like Silvally with more steps. Like, just Silvally, but harder to do, so why? That's what it feels like, is Silvally, but why? Steelix doesn't feel great. Too much energy required. Doesn't feel amazing. Tyranitar. This card, I'm bummed about this card. I must have made 10 different Tyranitar decks. The truth is, this thing is phenomenally mid. And the big reason it's phenomenally mid is there's no way to get extra dark energy right now. And 4 energy is so dang much. It's so much in this meta. Like, things move so quickly. By the time you get 4 energy, it's really hard. You do get it online. It swings for some decent damage. With any type of energy ramp for T-Tar, this could be really cool. The Unknowns, fun, but cheesy. Xatu is actually okay. It's still, I would say it's still like Xatu, Togekiss, these are all cheesy cards, but it's actually okay. Togekiss is actually okay. Look, the fact of the matter is, an opponent half the time not being able to do damage to you from an attack is pretty ridiculous, right? Raikou, not bad. This is actually maybe one of the better ones in the set for the elemental beasts, right? Probably the best one of the 3. Ampharos is also fine. We made a decent Ampharos deck. It does good enough damage. It's only 80 for 2 energy, but it can do more. It pairs with Will. And I mean, you look at EXs, like Lantern's 80 for 3, Kingdra's 90 for 2. Like, It's not that far behind some of these other cards. Mag Cargo, cheese, but actually, I'm gonna move it up to the B tier. Mag Cargo actually is fine. It's like, it's dumb as heck, but it actually works. You can build a good Mag Cargo deck. Ninetales, yeah, I don't feel like Blaine just really popped back up into the meta too hard. We had Jumpluff also. This card, I feel like, could get more value in future sets, but it didn't feel that powerful in this set. And then Cherubi is like a nice addition to a Sweets Relay deck, which is cool. We had Stantler, Hiker, Umbreon. I actually don't like Umbreon. I thought it would be okay. I don't know. I'm gonna put it C. That might even be generous. For whatever reason, this card just doesn't feel like it does enough. I thought, like thinking about it, Free Cyrus with this card felt like it was gonna be kind of busted, but man, it just really was not. At least that's my opinion. I felt I could not find fun decks with it. I feel like Skarmory EX was, for me, the definition of a B tier EX. Not great, not terrible. You can make solid decks with it. There are cards in the set that pair directly with it, like Jasmine. It's fun, and you know, you also have the Steel Apron, right? That seems like kind of tailor-made for it. It's not the strongest thing, but you could definitely pull out wins with it, and I like it. Donphan is kind of the same thing. I actually like Donphan a bit more than Skarmory, but I don't think either of them are stellar EX Pokemon. The extra damage that you get when pairing Donphan with Lucario felt really, really solid, and it was nice pairing it with Hitmontop. So I like Donphan. Donphan impressed me, whereas some of the EXs were just a bummer. And a lot of that, I think, has to do with the fact that you can attack for 1 energy, which is just really powerful. Lugia, I do think its attack is incredibly strong, and it's annoying to power, and at most it's B, and I think that's probably fair. You can make some good decks with it. If you do get the energy on it, it almost clears everything in 1 hit. That will be changing when the megas drop, whenever that is. I think probably October-ish for the anniversary, right? But it's okay. For me, it's a disappointment, but I don't think it's terrible or anything like that either. Jasmine, good card, great for metal decks, B tier, very fair. Will, I'm gonna move Will up to A. I still don't think there's a broken combination with Will, but Will is extremely good. The ability to guarantee a coin flip is extremely good. You can't use it on things like Togekiss's ability or Misty because, right, you'd play 2 supporters in 1 turn, which you can't do. However, if you have coin flips, guaranteeing that it works out is actually pretty dang powerful. There were a few decks we made this season that were quite fun with that. Porygon 2, really strong power. Like the ability behind this is ludicrous. I don't think it really evolves into much to write home about yet, but I think this is really solid. Hitmontop, love it, really great. B tier feels fair. I think it's super strong, but not broken at all. Typhlosion, same thing. I think this is actually a really good one. You can definitely see Typhlosion used in the future too. Just having something on the bench that is kind of like a Greninja, right, for fire decks, and also can deal with Ori. Pretty solid. Steel Apron, good tool. I like it. Not broken. We don't have too many metal cards that absolutely need it, but definitely a good tool, especially avoiding status conditions and things like that. If status conditions ever become more meta, which it feels like the game is kind of never going to let that happen with things like Steel Apron, this card gets more value, obviously. Ho-Oh, I put in the A tier, and I think that's fair. I think it's one of the better EXs in the set, and it will continue to provide value as the game goes on in different ways to power cards. I don't think it's amazing, but like it's not S tier by any means, but I do think it's one of the more solid EXs in the set. Tyrogue I had in our A tier. I think the babies are actually just kind of cracked. I'm gonna move this one up to the S tier. It's in specific decks, but being able to just do damage for 0 energy is really, really good. And all the babies are actually pretty dang good. I didn't love Smoochum and Elekid, but in general, I feel like the babies are pretty good. Next, we have Lyra. Lyra is a solid card. I think A is a really fair place to put this supporter. There are a lot of decks that can make good use of this. Then there are other decks where you'd rather run Leaf or something like that, but there are some decks that could really like this. Dark Pendant. Sadly, I'm going to move this down to the B tier. I still think it's a good card, but with only 20 cards in your deck, sometimes it's just hard to find room for something like this. And I found it a little tough to find room for Dark Pendant in a lot of decks. However, it is hilarious and I love it. I love the card, but I can't say that it is one of the best cards. Eevee, Find a Friend Eevee. Insanely good just because of how good the Eevees are. This is probably an S tier Eevee, honestly. The ability to get more draw out of a card that is already drawing, and because of the ability of Find a Friend, you have a higher likelihood of grabbing Sylveon or something like that. Just insanely broken. Okay, Crobat. Crobat is going to be moving down to the A tier here with Ho-Oh. I think it's better than Ho-Oh, but I think both of them are quite good. One energy to be able to attack and poison is really solid. I love Crobat. First deck I made in the entire set. I was very excited about Crobat. I do think it's a good deck to play in ranked and things like that. It's probably not the most tournament meta deck, but I think it's really solid and one of the best EXs in the set. Espeon EX. Before the set came out, didn't know what to think of it, didn't seem that powerful. Now, I definitely think it's the best EX in the set. Still, I put it as our best EX when I first did our tier list, and the real reason is because of Sylveon. Sylveon, Espeon is broken. It's just so strong, and you can do healing. The 80 is actually kind of considerable, right? The 70 is okay. The 80 actually gets you to some really interesting breakpoints. So I think it's hanging out in our S tier. Definitely the best EX in our set. Silver, love Silver. Such a fun, annoying card. The ability to look at your opponent's hand and disrupt it is super fun. You get information and you disrupt. Really powerful combination right there in Silver. Elemental Switch I put in the S tier, and that is definitely staying in the S tier. I think one of the best cards in the entire set. It's going to do some really wild stuff, I think, with the Elemental Dogs here very soon. Its ability to move lightning, fire, or water up is great, especially with babies that generate energy, Zeraora, like things that just find ways to generate energy on the bench. Elemental Switch is so dang good. And then I put the babies in our God tier at the start of the season, and I don't think that's changing at all. I think all of them are insanely good. I think if I had to, like, I think Cleffa is not as valuable. I think Cleffa and Tyrogue kind of like hang out in the same vein. Like, they're good, but more specific. These ones are specific, right, to lightning and fire. We also have Mantite coming for water, but they're kind of just busted. Extra energy on turn 1 or even turn 2 for so many of these decks is insanely valuable. No retreat cost, allowing you to move it around for free. I think babies were the biggest impact. Sorry. I'm getting a little choked up thinking about the babies. Babies are the biggest impact in the entire set. But I do want to hear from you. What do you think I still got right? What do you think I still got wrong? What is your take on Wisdom of Sea and Sky? For me, it felt like this set just didn't hit as hard as I wanted it to, and that might also have something to do with how fast sets are coming, especially when this is a 2-pack set, right? Thank you all for watching. Thank you for listening. I don't know if I'll be live right at the set release, but if I am, come say hi. If not, I'll be on like all week with Pocket for huge streams as we're like ripping packs, building new decks, all the fun stuff. Thank you guys. Love you. We did it.